Hi, everyone. Today I thought we would maybe talk about low self esteem, self confidence, self worth, our identities, who we are in our minds, and who we are actually in Christ. Um, I struggled a whole lot my whole life with low self esteem, not a lot of confidence in myself. I never felt like I was enough. I never felt like I would measure up to what people expected of me or wanted from me, or what I wanted of myself, really. I just felt less than. Felt less than my friends, felt less than my family. Like I would just never be able to meet others' expectations or meet my own. And I don't know that anybody really had any expectations, but in my head they did. I told y'all before, I have a brother and a sister. My sister is 3 years older than me, and so I'm the baby of the family. Actually, my brother's 4 years older, my sister's 3 years older, and that meant that, you know, we had the same teachers in school, and a lot of times I was compared to them. I was compared, especially to my sister, because I'm a girl, she's a girl, and so we were compared a lot. I never felt like I had any chance of measuring up to that comparison. My sister is incredibly smart, incredibly smart and hardworking. She graduated at the top of her class. She graduated from A&M in 2.5 years, magna cum laude. So even though we're 3 years apart and I went to A&M too, I was never there with her because she was already graduated and done before I ever even made it, even though we were only 3 years difference in graduation from high school. So, you know, she's amazing. And she works very hard for that. And I just always felt like, well, that's not ever going to be something I can attain or do. I can remember being in school and having teachers that she had and getting a test back and, you know, maybe making a B on the test. Something that's not a bad grade. It's not the best grade. It's not bad by any means. And they would hand it back to me and say, you know, I expected more from Amber's sister. Like, okay, thanks. I'm happy with it. like, but those kinds of things like really stick with you, and they really like make you question, are you good enough? No, maybe you're not. Like, maybe why even try? Like, because you're not going to measure up. In addition to being incredibly smart, she was and is incredibly beautiful. And I struggled with my appearance. I always felt like that awkward phase lasted for me. As you can tell, I have a big nose. I can admit to that. And I don't know, I always felt like I wasn't as pretty as her. Like, she did modeling, and I don't know, I just didn't measure up. If you ask her, she would never say these things. Like, she would never say these things about me. And I know she had her own struggles and stuff growing up too. So like, I think we all experience that, right? Like, what we're harder on ourselves than maybe somebody is on us from the outside, but on ourselves we like really just dig in and like we can be mean, right? Like, mean to ourselves. So that's kind of something that I struggled with, like, you know, all through there. And then later on in life, I ended up, my first marriage was not with somebody that treated me very well, and kind of capitalized on noticing that I had those self-worth issues, capitalized on noticing that I had those insecurities, and played off of them to try and hurt or control me. You know, I had basically it was just very verbally and emotionally abusive. And, you know, when you already don't feel good about yourself, and then somebody else that is supposed to love and care for you somebody that supposedly chose you, right? Like they're telling you these same things. That's really hard, and it's a hard thing to come back from, because you already felt down, and now you have somebody else reinforcing that idea. It makes it, the absolute truth, and that's what you identify as, and you just start to think like, oh, I'm lucky that anybody ever even pays me any attention. I don't deserve anything good or anything nice in this world, because people should just they have to tolerate me. And so yeah, I dealt with that a lot in my life, and luckily, like, I eventually had my eyes open to truth, and eventually had my eyes open to the fact that, like, no, I should not identify with these things. These should not be my identity, because my identity is in Christ, and Christ does not, well, God does not make mistakes, okay? God made me exactly how he wanted me to be, and I do have things to offer to this world. I am a person who can contribute positively to the world, to the people around me. I have a big heart. That's a story we'll get into another time. I literally had a big heart and had to have open heart surgery, so that was fun. But yeah, like I just, when I finally broke free from my first marriage, broke free from that constant abuse, and really when I strengthened my relationship with Christ, I started to see myself in a new identity. I started to see myself not as somebody that would never measure up, not as somebody who was less than, but somebody who had worth, somebody who had something to give to the world, and somebody who could make a difference in the world. And so I wanted to kind of, what does the Bible say, right? Like I told you before, there's a lot of questions in this life, and if there's ever questions, like, the Bible is your go-to resource to get those questions answered. It answers all questions. So what does the Bible say about who we are? Well, Psalm 139:14, sorry, I'm reading from what I wrote out, but Psalm 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. So that tells me that God knew what he was doing when he made me, and that everything that he makes is wonderful. And if I just find my identity in him and who he made me to be, then I know that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So I like that. Also, Jeremiah 31:3 I thought was good. It says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. And when it says drawn you, like drawn as in drawn a picture, right? He took the time to create me out of love and kindness. And those are attributes that he's given to me, and I can choose to project to the world. I can choose to identify with those things in my own life, so that is what I project out to other people. And so I hope that is something that I have done in my life, and that I will continue to do and continue to grow into. And do I still struggle sometimes with like self-confidence issues and my self-worth? Absolutely. But where I started and where I am now are light years away. And I luckily have a husband now that is so kind and does so much to try and build me up instead of tear me down like my previous marriage. And so that's very helpful. At first when he would give me compliments or, say something to me, those were hard for me to even hear or accept, because I didn't believe those things about myself, and I didn't think I ever would believe those things about myself. And now I'm at a point where I can look back and say, yeah, I can accept those compliments. I can accept those things. And while I may not fully agree, sometimes I can still hear it and not cringe away. So anyway, if you struggle with self-worth, if you struggle with low confidence, don't let other people define you. Don't let this world or the images that this world projects define who you are. You are defined by Christ. You are defined by your Maker, and He has made you fearfully and wonderfully, and He has drawn you with unfailing kindness. So remember that, and hopefully that will help you be able to find a little bit of worth in yourself. I hope everyone's doing well, and look forward to figuring out what we're going to talk about next. All right, thanks, guys.